And today we're talking about patients with coronavirus, with anxiety, with COVID-19. This is a major public health issue. This is a mental health issue. This is a public health issue. This is a mental health issue. So um, coronavirus, COVID-19 in and of itself does not cause the actual anxiety, but may cause some issues in the brain that cause an increased inflammatory state, which leads to headache. And that may also cause symptoms, which then lead to anxiety. So anxiety has sort of three levels. Sort of these anxiety and depression has this elevated neurotransmitters that actually cause the feeling of anxiety. That's on a superficial level. On a more superficial level, there is a factor that stimulates the anxiety and a factor that results in a physiologic response of increased heart rate, tenseness, stress, and overall decreased productivity and overall release of hormones and a state that people don't really like to have. So the reason I'm talking about this is because I've dealt with a lot of patients over the last year with coronavirus and anxiety. And one of the things that they run into is, and a lot of them say to me is, I just can't meditate while I do this. So I talk about this in my book, and if you want to learn more, but I think it's better to just go over it in a video of what I've learned as far as anxiety is concerned and how to actually deal with that anxiety. It's absolutely key to learn how to deal with anxiety. So in our logo, there's this thing called this chakra, and it's a chakra that's in the direct logo right here. And that is this thing that can actually decrease fear and anxiety. So what is fear at its central thought process? So fear is the absence of gratitude, love, and it can be physiologically, it can be a state where you're trying to fend for your life. And a derivative of that fear is sort of this anxiety and this prolonged sort of rumination. So let's distinguish fear from anxiety. So fear, when it's useful, is a situation in which you are in danger and you need to get out of that situation immediately. Anxiety is this prolonged rumination over a certain event that then develops into a sort of behavioral component that doesn't work well. So an example is that a patient has issues with anxiety because they are in a transition in their lives, whether it's a transition in a relationship, a transition in a job, a transition in a certain activity that they're doing. Usually anxiety has to do because of an unease that takes place or an unease with the actual anticipated outcome. So there's three ways to deal with this. Number one is medication, which increases sort of serotonin, and you can decrease the anxiety by doing that because there's sort of a lack of a feel-good neurotransmitter. But in addition to that, why do we have anxiety? What gift does anxiety actually bring? And we really have to understand that. The gift that this anxiety brings is the ability to sit down and understand that you can actually take time out to calm yourself and to change your physiology. So some people will do like the Wim Hof breathing exercises, which are excellent. We'll put a link of that below. And that can seriously help with anxiety and really help you to just focus on your breathing. The second thing that you can work on is just meditation. And one quick meditation that you can do is actually just take a look at the actual anxiety and that feeling of anxiety as a visualization. If you just take it in your heart and say, oh, that anxiety is there. And let me just aim this mantra towards it. You can say nitai, 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 or say chakra, 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 chakra. And now these are maybe cultural things that actually come out, but these cultural things have stories behind them, and then since they have these stories behind them, they have a meaning. But you can try it yourself without the meaning, and you'll find that these things actually can help also. You don't have to attach meaning to these things when these sort of words that are thought to be yogic words are actually inert. So there's certain syllable sounds and sound vibrations that are thought to be yogic in nature. And what does yogic mean? It basically forges a connection between you and your higher self. So if that is there, that connection is reinforced there, you can then make a decision or make a sound decision in your life without that anxiety producing thing. So oftentimes, say what will happen is you're forced into a certain situation and the situation is now where you are. How do you deal with that? Good way to have that is to have an actual mantra. That actually takes place. So this mantra that actually takes place is very key. So an example is this, is right now my screen shifted and I was like, oh no, I'm live streaming. And immediately I was in a situation where I was like, okay, well, my internet is probably working, the light is on, but did I stop streaming? So that anxiety producing moment, and then immediately the ability to contain your emotions and say, look, no, let me work through this. How do I work through this? So the first thing you do is you actually identify the actual emotion that you have. And if you've identified it as anxiety, you take that and say, okay, this is anxiety. The second thing you do is you take your mantra and you aim the mantra right at the actual box. And you say chakra, 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 chakra. And you say nitai, 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 nitai. Or you say go, run, go, go, run, go, go, run, go, go, run, go. And you do that right directly at the actual anxiety producing agent at the box. You just simply do that at the box. You'll find that now you focus directly on the anxiety and you've almost nullified the anxiety. Next thing you do is you make your decision. Oftentimes anxiety comes with a choice, something that you're not doing, something that you could be doing to make that anxiety be mitigated. So first thing to do is meditate. Take that meditation, and it takes less than 10 seconds, 15 seconds to do this meditation. You can do it, you can destroy it by just simply saying chakra, chakra. You can say nitai, nitai. You can say go, run, go, go, run, go. And that's all simply in our logo. So that is something that we wanted to offer to the world free. So that's why we have it there and free of charge. If you want to learn more about the basis behind all of this, please take a chance to pick up the book. But those are 3 things that you can do immediately. Now, the decision. Now is the time to make a decision after you've gotten rid of the anxiety for whatever that is. Whether it's something that's quote unquote small in your mind, whether it's something that's big in your mind, that doesn't matter. But actually taking action towards the anxiety producing object is absolutely key. So we had a patient with coronavirus. We've had multiple patients with coronavirus, and they complain of this actual anxiety that's there, that sort of impending sense of doom. So one of the things that is there, and it's this sort of situation where if you're in a sick situation, if you're feeling sick or ill, what do you do? So that's the anxiety that's produced from the actual illness itself. And oftentimes with that anxiety, especially for me, is that if I'm feeling ill, one of the major sources of anxiety that I have is the inability to be productive during those days. The lost productivity for me is huge. I don't want to lose productivity. For other people, it's the hit upon your health. And what is it? What's going to be there? Am I going to survive? Am I going to live? Am I not going to live? That's another rumination that takes place. So in order to do this, for example, for me, if I'm feeling sick, I will get up and I will do that meditation, and then I will make sure that I take another action. Okay, I'm feeling sick. What medicine do I need to take so that I am going to be able to be productive today? And even though it's a day that I'm feeling ill, is there something that I can do to help my fellow person, my fellow man, to be able to serve them? Because ultimately life is about service. And I want my life to be about serving somebody every day, as many as people as possible every single day in my life. What about your life? What is that central meaning? And if you have that thing that can ground you, it's absolutely key. So that's the second thing. Take action. So first thing, meditate. Second thing, take action. So after you've done those 2 things, you've meditated, taken action, now you can go back to meditation. And you can actually have a session. So you've taken your action, you've been productive, you got that Anxiety, you've actually taken a chip in that anxiety. So now is the time to experiment with bliss. And this is what this book is. The third meditation in this book, and the way to do it is so powerful that it's said that it actually can cause fear to fear personified. Meaning fear to fear personified. What does that mean? Is that fear personified gets actually scared of this situation, because this situation is so powerful and there's such an internal sense of joy and gratitude that can come out of it, is that it's key. What I suggest you do is do the meditations as you go through the book with gratitude. It's absolutely key. Gratitude is one thing, but then having gratitude connected with this yogic exercise is so powerful that you can come out in a complete state of joy. And that production that comes out is also very important as far as attracting the right things in your life and moving out the wrong things, attracting the right people and moving out the wrong people. And it'll automatically happen for you. And if you're just an observer of these things, it's absolutely key. So what happened is that one of the people that actually knows this meditation doesn't understand that you actually have to do it with gratitude. That the biggest key is you have to do it with gratitude, and you have to actually do it with, do the number 3 meditation before you do the number 4 meditation. Because the currency in all yogic practice and all of this is mercy. And if you can lock into mercy, mercy that comes to you, then can be generated into working on other karmic processes, such as number 4. So the key is that you start off with, you've done number 1, you started off with Nitai, Gorango, Chakra Chakra, you destroyed the early anxiety. Number 2, you've taken action. And number 3, now you're sitting down and trying to do a meditative session to destroy that actual root that's actually causing you anxiety. And you do that with gratitude. That can be one meditation. But that gratitude coupled with meditation 3 is so powerful that now you can be on cloud 9 and you can make all of your decisions from a state of mind that is just in complete harmony with you and the universe, and you know it because you're making that right clarity based thought. So that's what I'm leaving with you today, is this list of steps, and we'll go over it again. Identify the emotion. You've identified it as fear or anxiety, and we're just talking about anxiety and fear in this, but it's fear or anxiety. That's number 1. Number 2 is Chakra Chakra, Nitai, 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 go, run, go, go, run, go, go, run, go. Next, anxiety, and now you've taken action because you want to start to act upon the anxiety producing thing. Okay, what medication do I need? Do I need to be on steroids? Do I need to call the doctor? What is it that I need to do to actually try to feel physically better in a practical sense? With that aside, now let's go into a deep meditation and do that and try to get it at its root. And that takes about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe sometimes even 10. If you do that with gratitude, you can hit a real state of just being really high and then going from there. So the whole process takes you about 12 minutes to actually do. Now, say you want another process that you're like, okay, this doesn't work for me. What is another thing that you can do? You can just YouTube. You can go to YouTube and go to Wim Hof breathing exercise. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do a breathing exercise. And that in and of itself will very, very much help you with anxiety. So this is our coronavirus anxiety techniques thought process. We will put all the links to this below. And I hope that if you're feeling anxiety, you'll use these techniques as they're very powerful and go from there. My hope is that anxiety doesn't rule your decision-making or your relationship, and that you have a relationship with anxiety that you command and you use that anxiety, and it's simply just a relationship that you have, and you have anxiety. Anxiety does not have you.